Hello team, happy Friday. And I actually this morning I said it is Feel Good Friday because I just finished box and bar and then box, dripping sweat, oh there it is, and just feeling good, right? That's the power of exercise, moving our body. I can't think of a single workout that I haven't at least felt a little bit better than when I started. This morning went up like 100 times, which is, I love when those just amazing workouts. So thank you team. This crew is on another level this week. Holy cow, in such a good way. Thank you all for showing up. Heading to the end of the first quarter of the year, just super strong, healthy, fit, doing the best you can. So I wanted to share, I love sharing inspiration and motivation. And this came up yesterday and we actually talked about it in our Connect group last night. And I thought this was a valuable lesson to share with everybody. And that is just the power of giving, and our topic was receiving random acts of kindness. I'm sure your V-Fitters are some of the most kind, giving humans out there, but receiving and the power of receiving random acts of kindness. And after we were all sharing, and I'll share a little story, a personal story that prompted that idea to share about this yesterday was, it's so cool when I was listening to everyone's stories about a random act of kindness that they've received in their life. And the two big takeaways I got were, one, some of those random acts of kindness turned into friendships or business relationship or progressed into something else. But a lot of them, it was something that was done that they never had another meetup with that person in their life, and yet the impact of that small random act of kindness is still so vivid in their memory. They can describe the situation, what the person was wearing, the feelings. And so something that we do to somebody else, give, you never know the impact. You think about planting those seeds and sometimes never seeing the harvest or the fruit that bears, but the power of it. So my personal story is we had ski PE yesterday. I've told this story, so a few of you have heard it, but I organized a ski PE program for our co-op, and I'm honored to do it. I love it. I love organizing. It's one of my strengths, but it's a lot of work. I put a lot of time into the groups and the instructors and the kids, and it's my third year, and every week it changes last minute, which is fine. I know it always works out. Like, God is good. There's not a single time it hasn't worked out. So I have that peace after I put it all together that it changes and it works out. But yesterday, it's our second to last week, and I made the groups, and I had put all three of my kids in different groups than myself for different reasons. And I had put Emmy in the top group because she really wanted to ski with a couple of these kids, and they were going to do things that were outside of like what I felt comfortable. Like at this point, she's getting really good. So I was super happy for her, like excited for her. And sometimes that's one of the lessons too. So we get up to the mountain to ski for the day, and it's colder than we all anticipated. I don't know if it just didn't check the weather or whatever. I had a lot of Mom of the Year moments in the first beginning of the story. So we're getting all ready, and she's like complaining she's already cold, and her hands are cold. And rule one, we all know of being outside in the cold, like once your hands get cold, it's really hard to get them to not be cold. So she's crying. We're taking the ski lift up to go meet with everyone, and she's already like crying and saying her hands hurt and they're so cold. And I'm just like, again, I have a lot of Mom of the Year moments in this beginning of the story. And I'm just like, suck it up. Like, I want to ski. We've had such a tough winter. We have a good day out here today. It was cold and not great conditions, but the snow was awesome. So she's crying, like already upset. So halfway down the run, I give her my gloves, which are really like warm gloves, like hoping that will help. And she's just at the point, like we're getting in our groups, everyone's dividing up, and she just keeps coming up to me, but she's really quiet, and she's like, Mom, my tummy hurts. Or, in my head, I'm like, oh, she's just making this up to get out of like skiing. And I'm, again, Mom of the Year, I'll admit it. And I'm just like, Emmy, come on, suck it up, go have fun, go. And she's just really upset. And so I said, okay, your group can ride with ours for the first, we'll kind of group up together this first run and see how you feel. And so we're going up the ski lift, and she's just like miserable. Like she keeps, and I was not being very nice. Like I should have been I was just like, come on, like this day. And finally I was like, okay, she kept saying her stomach hurts. And I'm like, maybe you just have to go to the bathroom. Like, I bet you that's it. That helps everything, right? You got to go to the bathroom. So I told the other volunteers, I said, I'm gonna take Emmy to the bathroom, and we'll meet up back with you. Hopefully she'll feel better and all will be well after that. So we go down to the lodge, to the mill, and there's this is part of the story, which is, I love God's little intricate details when he's creating stories. There's this huge wall of snow that's not normally there because this year is like insane. And I'm like, Emmy, I got to get your picture on this wall of snow. And she was miserable, but she's like, okay. So she stands there, I'm taking her picture. And then this kind man walks by and he's like, oh, let me get your picture together. And I was like, kind of at this point was like, no, like we're not getting but I was like, okay. And so he takes our picture and I was like, thank you. Like that's a random act of kindness, actually taking pictures for people when you see them like trying. I always love people that say, let me take your picture. Can I get you all together? But that's not the full act of kindness that the story is about, but that's one of the little details. So we go into the bathroom. It's not much longer. And, I'm like, go to the bathroom, take however long you want. And she comes out like a minute later and I'm kind of waiting at the entry and she's just bawling, like hyperventilating, so upset. What I realized after is like her hands were literally frozen and they were like defrosting, and that tingling is so painful. I had it later in the day and I was like, oh yeah, that is so hard. And it was scaring her. It was making her feel anxious and just setting her off. And so she starts screaming and is so upset and not control of her emotions at all, because at that point she had been set off. And again, I have another Mom of the Year moment. I tell her to calm down. Calm down. We know has 0% success rate. If your husband's ever told you to calm down, when we tell our kids, it just doesn't work. Why do we use it? Like, so I'm sitting there like, calm down, Emmy, you have to get control. Let's breathe. And then bless her heart, she's so empathetic and kind. She starts like going in her toolbox. This is why it's so important to have these tools. And what a blessing that a lot of our kids now in this next generation are getting these tools, or hopefully they're available. Get them for your kids. Sherry's an amazing resource. She's worked with Emmy, like breathing tools, acknowledging emotions, working through this stuff. Because when you're in that crisis panic mode, even as a child, like she started to go into those. So she found a little bench in the bathroom and she starts hunching over and calming herself and doing her breathing. And this nice lady walks in and she's like, is she okay? And I was like, yeah, she's fine. She's just having a rough minute. Like, she's okay. And so she walks on. And at this point, I'm like, she's fine. It's been a couple minutes. She's calmed down. And then the lady comes back out a couple minutes later, however long it took her to go to the bathroom and wash her hands and stuff. And this is what I love. She wasn't something in her mama bear heart was like, this little girl, something, she just felt like a pull on her heart. So she comes over and she's like, are you sure you're okay? And Emmy, they just had a cute connection. Emmy looks up at her and was like, my hands are frozen and they hurt so bad, and starts talking to this lady, and this lady's so kind with her. And this is another one of those little interwoven blessings. The lady's like, guess what? I have heated gloves. Why don't you put these on for a couple minutes and we'll warm your hands up? And by then, I think her hands were actually pretty warm. We put them under water and warmed them. But so she's just talking to Emmy, asking her questions, like doing what you should do instead of calm down, like distracting and recalibrating. And she's like, I'm a high school nurse. And then it was about a 5-minute interaction. And then the lady said, okay. And he said, I think I'm okay. I'm going to go ski. And she told me, my tummy doesn't hurt anymore, Mom. And I realized in hindsight, her tummy was hurting because she was in so much pain and was getting scared of that feeling. And just, even though it doesn't seem like a big deal, like to her 10-year-old brain and body, it was a big deal. And so this kind person was able to come in and just fill a role that, as her mama, I wasn't able to do at that moment. And we went on to have like literally one of the best ski days. She's like, Mom, I want to stay with your group for the rest of the day. And I was like, okay. And we just had one of the best days, and I saw joy. And she told me, I'm so glad, Mom, that I didn't give up. And I was ready to throw in the towel. I didn't tell her that too, and like just go home. And like, that lady was so kind, and she turned our day around. And I know, even though I'll probably never see that lady or recognize her, she had a helmet and goggles, that's a moment like we'll remember the kindness of that person and what she gave us the opportunity to have a great day. And then I think of that nice man who took our picture, and now I have that picture to remember the day. And so the power of kindness and seeing the needs in others. So now we're always on our phone and everything's right in front of us and our devices, and are we seeing the needs in others? Are we receiving when we're given? Like, that was something that was given. I'm constantly giving to others, and to fact that like that was given to us, and it was so powerful. And so I thought that was such a good story. There were so many good ones shared in our Connect group, but I'm here to share my stories because that's what I feel most authentic and real about. So hopefully that sparks a little light in you to, again, receive and know the power of, like, one little interaction in life could make it impact 20, 30, 40 years after. There were stories about being people named after someone that was kind, and just, I don't know, kindness, pass it on.